Okay, my name is Houghting, and I did my book talk on The Importance of Being Earnest by Oscar Wilde. And the four main characters of the story are Jack, Algernon, Gwendolyn, and Cicely. Alright, so the main setting of the story takes place in London and in the countryside. And so the main setting of the story takes place in the countryside and in London. And while living in the countryside, Jack, also known as Ernest, develops or is the inventor of his brother, who is named Earnest, and it's his main reason for him to flee the countryside to go to London due to his brother having like a really bad illness that he has to go help him with and be there on his side. And so in London lives Jack's best friend Algernon, and who is also related to Gwendolyn. Gwendolyn being the girl who Jack is madly in love for, or something like that, and wants to marry her. So, of course, Jack wins over Gwendolyn's heart because he has the name Earnest, which is some God-loving name that everyone just wants to marry. And so Jack goes on to ask Lady Bracknell, who is Gwendolyn's mother, to give consent for marriage. And of course, Lady Bracknell refuses because Jack Earnest is not able to provide one of his parents, which is a major plot twist in the end, and I feel like it just explodes and it is rushed in the ending. But the reason why Jack cannot produce another parent is because he was left in a handbag at Victoria Station, and he was found, and so that's one big story on its own. And so after Jack's failed attempt to get Gwendolyn's hand in marriage, his friend Algernon comes to London and visits Jack Ernest with with Cicely and her governess, which is named Miss Prism. And Miss Prism is the main character you want to remember in the end. And so after Jack's failed attempt, he goes back to the country where he lives with Cicely and her governess, Miss Prism. Then all of a sudden, Algernon arrives as being Earnest, but Jack had told them that his brother had died of a severe chill, so it's just one big disaster in itself. And then Algernon insists on staying and falling in love with Cicely, and this creates conflict between the two main characters, the girl characters, Gwendolyn and Cicely, because they end up finding out that they are both married to the same guy named Ernest, and how they can never marry anyone but the name Ernest. And so at the end of the story, Jack Worthing is led to do some research on his family, especially his father, which leads to more stories being unfolded. And then Miss Prism comes back, but for what reason? And I'll leave you hanging with that question, but just know, with so much unknown in his life, how little it takes for a face, a grove of trees, and an outcropping of stone to become familiar.